Silence. No. Authority.
Blood, so it's like out salt. I'm like, no, I'm like, oh, that's good. Give it a thumbs up, nice, get down my merry way. And Damien right there is like, after he regained his composure, he's like, can you come in for a makeup test? Which never happens.
Yeah.
Usually have to go in for like multiple auditions and callbacks and everything. I know Lauren and Elliot who played Sienna and Jonathan, they went in several times for multiple callbacks for months. It's the salt. It's the salt.
Yeah.
And it's the salt. Now we put it, that's, I kind of wanted that to be in part two with Allie. It's like, yeah, rough salt balloon. I'm like, yeah, I also kind of looked as an homage to my audition. You can actually see the audition, I think, online too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. So like Terrifier comes out, it becomes this kind of like cult hit. Everybody starts getting into it. I started hearing about it as a big horror fan. And then Terrifier 2, the big push from the fans to get that in as many theaters as possible, as successful. How crazy was that experience?
That was nuts because that basically Terrifier 2 was fully funded by the fans. We had a little bit of backing, but we did an Indiegogo campaign. And before we did it, it's like, we're trying to figure out how much should we ask for. I'm like, let's go for like 200,000. It's like, oh, we're never going to get something like that. Let's do, maybe we'll be lucky if we get 50,000. So let's go ahead and put 50,000 in. And we made like 4 times our goal in less than a few hours, which was amazing to me. So we made like, I think like the final numbers were around like $200,000, $300,000 that we raised on Indiegogo. And that's what we made Terrifier 2 off of. So it's still a very low budget film, but we just have an extremely talented team that just, we found some great locations so we didn't have to pay for it, stuff like that. But we didn't expect it to take off like the way it did. And I remember like when I first read the script, I was like, dang, we have to put this in theaters somehow. If we can put this in the theater just for 1 weekend, just put this in multiple theaters throughout the country, I think it's really going to take off. I was like, God, we could never make that happen. And we almost had to self-distribute Terrifier 2. And so Cineverse came in and they're like steps and they're like, hey, we want to put this in theaters. And they put in like 500 theaters for 1 weekend. That's all it was going to go. And it was that opening night, like we went to go see a screening in Staten Island, New York. And we walk out, we go to the bar next door, and we start looking, and all these reviews are coming in on Twitter, all the fans going out, and it's just going nuts. And I'm like, dude, I think we got a hit here. And all of a sudden, the next week, I get a phone call in the morning, like, how many Stearns people want to talk to you? And I'm like, well, what? And then all these like talk shows are talking about it. They're like, Terry O'Connell was talking about us and stuff. I was like, this is, and it just took on a life of its own. Stephen King tweeted about it. I'm like, what? Anyways, Daddy talked about it. That's who I am. And we got picked up for like more theaters in multiple weeks. For like 6 or 7 weeks, we're in theaters. And it just went bananas.
Yeah.
So we're going to make part 3, and they approached us for part 3. Studios were then like, we want this, because they're like, how did they do this? And because we were unrated film, and studios were like, hey, here's some money. But they wanted to revamp everything. They wanted to reboot the series. They wanted to change everything about it. And he was like, no, yeah, absolutely not. And they're throwing a lot of money at us. And he's like, no, we're going to keep it as it should be, and we'll just make it for less. But Cineverse came in, gave us a good chunk of change, but still not a huge Hollywood budget. And we made part 3, and then we ended up kicking Joker out of the top of the box office, and Top Gun out of the top 10.
Yeah.
And we ended up breaking the world record for the highest grossing unrated film of all time. Like, Beyonce kicked Beyonce's butt. So took down the Queen, which is like, so that was insane. It's really because of the fans.
Yeah.
It's all the fans getting us over the line every single time. So we're all, our whole entire team's grateful for you guys. It's a true underdog story. It's because it's outside the whole Hollywood system, and it's made, we've had so many of these big Hollywood directors now come to us thanking us, like Eli Roth and all those guys, because they're like, thank you. Now we can actually go to the studios and tell them, like, look, Terrifier could do all this as an unrated film and make all this money and do all this profit. Just let us cook. Let us do what we want to do. Audiences want to see this kind of stuff, because the industry is so risk averse these days, because they put like hundreds of millions of dollars into a film, so they don't want to risk anything. It's not like back when I was growing up in the 80s where they would make films for like $5-10 million. And we had so many cool, awesome movies coming out of that era because people just took risks and just like, hey, let's just make something fun and have fun and see what happens. And I think we're starting to get back to that now. Yeah, which makes me extremely happy. I mean, I look at last year, it was a great year for horror films.
Oh, absolutely.
A lot of great movies came out with last year, and I think that trend's going to continue.
It's continuing this year. I think Sam Raimi went Send Help.
Yeah.
It's like the most Sam Raimi movie.
It makes me so, I haven't seen it yet, but it makes me so happy. Yeah. I love Sam Raimi films.
Really cool. Like in the Home Temple was really good.
Yeah.
And really excited for Terrifier 4, as I'm sure you are.
I haven't seen the script yet. He's still finishing it right now. Because he said it's a beast of a film. It's going to be long. It's going to be a big one because he's wanting this to be the finale of this story arc with Sienna.
Yeah.
So Damien's very, very particular. This is his baby, and he wants to make sure everything's done right. So he takes his time with things. But he's recently been saying he's been wanting to start filming hopefully this fall, so that we can get out to everybody next fall, which I'm really excited about because I want to know what happens next. He hasn't told me anything. And usually, like the last two films, when he was writing the scripts, and always calling me up, "Hey, Dave, I got an idea for this. I got an idea for this. This one, he's hasn't talked to any of us. None of us in the cast or crew know what's happening. It's like,
A collaboration, like you collaborate with them on ideas for like bits or like kills and things
yeah,
like that.
Damon is like such a actor-friendly director. He has his ideas, but he also knows how to let his actors play and see what they can come up with on the spot. And he sometimes writes says, like horror is his thing, comedy's my thing. And so he sometimes writes scenes where it's just like a little fake description of what happens. It's like, like the costume shop scenes, like Art comes across a bunch of props and just plays. And so we get them like, oh, this is gotta be fun.
Yeah.
And then we go and film the scene that day, and it's just a rack of sunglasses and a bunch of comedy props behind me, like gags, just to like big boob and all that kind of stuff. Whoopee cushions, and I'm like, oh boy. And he's like, just we'll roll the camera, just do stuff. So I'm like, there's probably a whole entire film of me just playing with all the props. Of me just playing with those props. And like when we did the bar scenes part 3, it's like that was my favorite thing I filmed so far ever. Because I'm this thing where I just get to do my thing, but I get to do my thing with all these actors I grew up watching, like Clint Howard, so he's Hollywood legend, and like his family is like Hollywood royalty, the Howards. And then like Bradley Stryker, I've seen so many movies, and like Danny Roebuck, who I've watched movies and TV shows my whole entire life. And Dave was like, I have these words on this page, but you guys are professionals. So if you want to just change things and just play, go ahead. That's what we did, especially Danny and I, when we're doing that whole entire fortress things. All that dialogue was Danny just making stuff up, and he just giving me so much stuff to play off of. And I had so much fun. So I'm hoping it's going to be more scenes like that in part 4. It's driving me crazy not knowing what's happened in the end.
You mentioned that you were an understudied Big Lunch and that you played Mickey Mouse. So man, your career completely came full circle there. Did they know that when you were casting those roles?
Because it's the same director, Steve Lamorte, and it's like both times he like the first one for Mean One, he didn't even know me, but he went to school with the fucking Lynch guys, like, and so he contacted them, was like, hey, I'm making this Grinch horror movie. Do you know anybody that could possibly like play this part? It's like, oh yeah, Dave. And then I go in there like, yeah, dude, I worked with this musical for 5 years. I know this character very, very well. I know him very, very well. And he's like, oh wow. And then when he came to me with the script for Screenboat, and he told me the idea, and I'm like, this is fantastic. And it's like, why? It's like, well, it's because there's full circle moment again. It's like, really? And I told him the whole backstory with, Mickey's Christmas Carol. I was like, oh my God. So yeah, I'm like, yeah. Yeah. That was fun.
But yeah. You have fun with that one?
Oh yeah. It's a silly movie. Yeah, and then there's a possibility that we might be doing a squeakquel. So if I can't wait. I know some things, so it's like that's actually something I know more about than Terrifier 4. I'm very excited though. I love it. I love that idea of just having fun with horror films, and I love that whole idea of taking something that's like so sweet and innocent from childhood and doing some dark twist with it. So I've really enjoyed doing that both with Mean One and Springboat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're ruining childhood.
Oh, it's great. Well, that's a funny thing. When I toured Grinch, I had a whole backstory in my head of why the Grinch actually hates the Who's. And when I told my castmates, like, that's dark, dude. You do not say that. I'm like, dude, it works. It's because I said what it is. It's because, at the end of the story, and the Grinch carved the Who beast. It's like, that's a good. Oh, they've been killing his people. They eat them every year for Christmas. And then he's carving up the Who beast and serving it to all the Who, so he's been brought into the cult of the Who. It's dark, isn't it? You understand why he hates them so much? And he hates Christmas because it's genocide. It's genocide. Yeah. Yeah, they were like, what's wrong with you, man?
I love that. I wanted to talk real quick about Stream.
Yeah,
Which I just rewatched earlier this week. I love that movie. And I was telling you at your table today. And if you haven't gone to see him at the table, go to his table. Lots of cool stuff there. Also, you're doing a double signing with Mark Spears
yes.
tomorrow night. So that's super cool. Mark's a good friend of mine and super cool dude. And yeah, go get the exclusive of Art the Clown from Terrifier. But so what I wanted to ask about the Stream, I can tell your performance immediately. Like, I didn't know that you were player 2 at first, but the movie seemed so much fun because there's so many people in that movie. Alyssa Rose, Danielle Harris. Were you on set with them at all?
I was on set with several of them. I wish I could have been on set with Tim Curry.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing. I understand he refers to me as the other clown. So I would take that to my grave. Yeah, Tim Curry calls me the other clown. I'm like, But that was an amazing experience in itself because we filmed it during COVID.
Oh, wow.
We filmed that in this like haunted hotel, this giant massive hotel in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, right next to the battlefield, all that kind of stuff. In the height of COVID, before the vaccines had come out or anything like that, we were just basically quarantined ourselves to this hotel. And every morning you're like, who's going to be on set today? Because different people were just coming in. It's like, you just walk out the hallway and you have to get the temperature taken, and then we get breakfast, stuff like that. And you see all these different horror legends on set. I'm like, this is who's who of horror people. I'm like, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
How do you feel about going on the convention circuit with especially because you see a lot of those same people?
Oh yeah,
it's kind of like
it's kind of like a family
now.
It's very wild, and that's even how it felt on set for that because I've seen a lot of like men and women there on the convention circuit, so it's pretty cool. They're all the coolest people you'll ever know. It's like what I always tell people is like all those villains you grew up watching, like Kane Hodder and Robert Englund, Bill Moseley. They're the biggest teddy bears in real life. It's the funniest thing. And I was so worried when I first started doing conventions. I was like, oh God, these guys are going to look down their noses at. They're like, oh, who's this guy think he is? This clown coming in here. And it was like one of my first conventions, Bill Moseley just comes up to me. He's like, hey, I'm Bill. I know you're new to all this, so let me take you around. So he took me around and just introduced me to everybody there, like John Sear, King Hodder, all those guys, and just broke the ice. So like Rose did the same thing with me, and she's like my con mom. I was like, oh, here's a sweetheart, and she's got an amazing power to remember everybody's name. I don't know how she does it. It's her superpower. It's crazy, but it is wild. I also want to touch on something that happened during Stream too. It was a crazy moment. It's like this during COVID. There wasn't supposed to be really anybody else in that hotel we're filming with. We're filming a horror movie, blood, all that kind of stuff. And they're not telling the other people that were apparently staying in this hotel in the middle of January and COVID that we're filming a horror movie. And it's the scene where I'm like stalking my victim down the hallway and I'm checking around and I'm doing take after take. They have these crazy lights going off. I got blood all over me. And all of a sudden at the end of one take, this door opens down the hallway and this woman comes out. Whatever you're doing is very effective. We are Second Amendment. You don't know what's got you. And then she showed us the videotape. She was recording through the peephole of her phone. And you see me going, she's going right next to that. I'm like, oh my God. And you see me going by the door, and it's horrifying. So I understand why she was scared. Yeah, she just doing it. There's just like, no idea. I was like, I'm so glad I did not stop at that door and do anything. I'm like, oh my God, why weren't they telling people we want to know this?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. All right, we want to open it up to the floor because I'm sure y'all have some questions. Is there a mic somewhere that we have set up? Everybody who has a question wants to line up back there, I guess. Then we can get you set up to ask David some questions. Thank you. This has been super fun. Yeah,
I'm having fun.
So I know you got a thing. You want to play the joke? You played the joke before.
I have, yes. I did a short film called, I actually played him twice. I did a series about a decade ago called Nightwing Escalation. First season I played the Joker. And then about a year ago, we filmed a short little film called Joker's Wild, just for fun.
Yeah.
And we did it one day and we released it on YouTube and it's won all of these like festivals all over the world now, which is crazy. So it's like, okay. Well, hopefully Mr. Gunn takes notice one.
Yeah. So
Actually, put a smile in my face.
all right. What you got, buddy?
So in Terrifier 2, the start of the baby, the story is like one of those having a little thing in the opening.
Mhm.
Like what happened with you?
I had a kid's meal.
Nom, 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 nom.
It was not a happy meal though. It was a very unhappy meal. There he goes, Chris.
Thank you.
Big question.
All right. So, hi, I'm Justin. So I was playing myself so good up until it's all the way here from you. For you.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm a big Terrifier and talk about it's one of my favorite movies.
Thank you.
And my question was, when you were down like filming Terrifier, like on the ground, have you ever had nightmares of playing him?
No, I don't know what that says about me. I've had nightmares about other things, but not playing Art the Clown. I did scare the crap out of myself one time on set of the first film because I forgot what I was wearing. I was using the bathroom. I came out, turned around. And it was like the building where we filmed in middle of Trenton, New Jersey, which is like it was a horror film. So that building was not set decoration. That bathroom and everything. That's how it looked. That place was frightening. And it was middle of the night. I was delirious. I turned around. I saw myself in the mirror and just screamed.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
First of all, David, welcome home, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I'd like to ask what your favorite genre or genres of music are.
Oh, see, I'm weird.
We're all a little weird.
I'm a big fan of the oldies.
Okay.
Like I grew up on like 50s and 60s music. Of course, I'm a child of the 80s, so can't help that. But I'm also a big, huge musical theater nerd.
Yeah.
So I like to tell people this story when we're doing the Iceman Kills video. Spencer Jarvis is a huge musical theater nerd too, and we would be in between takes on stage because we just geek out over each other, and we were up there just singing Les Miserables in front of all these people. And we forgot we're in front of all these people. We're just doing like the Javert, Jean Valjean confrontation song, and we're like, "Oh, hi everybody."
That's awesome. On that, I was going to say, who reached out to whom with that collaboration with the song and the music video? Because yeah, I've listened to the song on repeat for days on end. It's a great song. I'm a huge metalhead, and the video is just as bad as the movies, man. It's great.
Oh, thank you. That was a lot of fun. That was a dream come true. Like since 80s kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when MTV first came out. So I was like, oh, be able to do a music video myself is a dream come true. But that was like a kind of a mutual thing because like Spencer had reached out to me right after Terrifier 2 came out because they were playing in New York City at Madison Square Garden. And he reached out and like invited like Damien and Elliot and I to the show, and so we all hung out and like we just geeked out over things.
That's really awesome.
Yeah, and I've seen like his videos. I'm like, dude, your videos are amazing because they're very cinematic. He's a big, huge movie nerd. I think he speaks more movie quotes than he speaks to himself, and he's got an encyclopedic knowledge of movies. And I'm like, dude, one of these days we got to collaborate. I would love to do like one of your videos somehow. And so when we were in the middle of getting ready for Terrifier 3, he finally approached Damien and he's like, can we do this? And he's like, absolutely. Awesome. So we had fun and we were going to do some darker things in that video too.
You can't really get much darker than
Oh, we could. But aren't doing such a thing. Like when that baby came out, and he wants Spencer wanted me to take the baby out and like swing it in the park and build the pillow and let it go flying. And David's like, no, that's too far. All the things that we've done in these movies, Damien's like, no. Can't do that to a baby. We can eat little kids. You can blow them up in a mall, but don't do that to a baby. And that's why you do the baby cry at the end of the ceremony. Oh, it's so
Well, that's it for me. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Jesse and the Rippers. That's awesome.
This one's the full house panel.
Hi.
Hi, David.
Hi.
First off, we went to the same high school, go Tigers. I just wanted to ask, were there any scenes that you never shot that made you too queasy on set?
Yeah. First of all, did you go to Grissom Penitentiary or did you go to the new building?
The new building.
Oh, lucky you. You had ventilation. But it was the rat scene with Aunt Jess in part 3. It was not the rats. The rats were adorable. Those were the coolest. They poop everywhere, but they're so adorable. I love the rats, but I don't like puke. And Damien knows this, that I do not like puke. I can't handle puke. It's just that I can handle blood, guts, poop, all that kind of stuff. That's fine. No. And he knew that. He wrote that scene like, damn you, Damien Leone. And I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I don't want to mess up my makeup because I might be doing this. And he's like, oh no, you'll be my makeup artist on site. Don't you dare. You're gonna clean yourself up. And he was like, hey, Dave, you gotta be. I'm like, can my stunt double just come in here and do this for me? He's like, oh no, Dave, your face is totally in the shot. So you got to be here. You can't just be your own. You've got your faces here, and I'm just the whole entire time. My face is not in the shot. They just want to see how far they can push me. But that puke was made of like this cream of mushroom soup and this other stuff they put in. It smelled horrible. The house was so hot because there was something like all the lights and everything. It smelled horrible. Then Samantha Scafidi, who plays Victoria, she just decides to come down and mess with me, which is like my sister. And she comes down and she's giving me this foul-smelling bag of corn nuts. She's eating up in my face and saying, hey, what's wrong? But I made it. I was very proud of myself. Even though that puke, when they flew out, it just spattered on this little tarp they put up and it just bang out. Yeah. And I suffered for my art. You're welcome. But no, thank you. I deserve that.
Hello,
Hello.
fellow. I go to Grissom right now. It's 2028, so.
So like years after me, because I graduated how that makes me feel old.
I think it's something that in the icon, so I think it's independent projects. And so I just wanted to ask you, like, how you go about like looking for auditions, like looking for work. Is that something that I really want to do? Like very inspired by arts. It's something that I want to do my entire life.
Great question. It's tough. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is tough. And in part because I love Huntsville. I did all the theater here at Fantasy Playhouse, Huntsville, Forest, all that kind of theater in Huntsville. I did all of that. And back when I was here, nothing to leave here. So I was like, I gotta go somewhere else so I can actually get paid to do this. And that's why I moved up to New York. And it's tough. It's very tough. You have to build, first of all, I say you gotta build tough skin to rejection. I used to get so upset when I wouldn't get cast in a role here. And I'm like, and you just got to deal with it. But the thing I always tell people, you get rejected, there's always another audition. And so you just got to keep learning. That's another thing I always say. I'm always learning. Every co-star I work with, I learn something from them. I'm always putting up in my little middle Rolodex, especially Lauren Libero. Oh my God, that woman is an amazing actress. And I'm always constantly learning from her. But just be persistent. I always found auditions in backstage.com or Actors Access. That's how I got the Terrifier audition. And just keep your eyes out for stuff like that. And just go out there, give it your all. And if you don't get it, don't worry about it. Just keep on, keep on, keep on. I was waiting tables and auditioning for 13 years before Terrifier came along. It just takes that one audition to change everything for you. You just never know what it's going to be. So if you don't worry about it, just have fun. As long as you enjoy what you're doing something great.
I also. Were you in any of the schools? We just finished Frozen. We did Frozen, like literally 2 weeks ago. We just closed it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
And so I was just wondering if you were in any of the playbills.
Way back in the day, I don't know if you ever heard, well, I did Annie Get Your Gun there.
You were in.
Yeah, I was a small.
We have all of the playbills.
Oh, wow.
All the actually,
I was Iron Tail. I was one of the Native Americans in the show. And I usually had like the small roles there, and I would do all the lead roles in the community theater. But also I played Glad Hand in West Side Story, which we took to the international thespian competition. Well, the first time West Side Story had ever been taken to that too, which was a really cool thing. So that was a big deal when I was there. Like, wow, we actually beat Lee High School for something. But that's why I primarily just did community theater though. I mean, I did a few plays here or there, like Grissom, but it was more, I kind of got more fulfillment out of doing community theater because I was on stage with more experienced actors. That's who I could learn from. Congratulations on Frozen too.
Hello, my name is Brandon. My question for you was, do you have a favorite scene out of all the Terrifier movies?
Yes, it's the bar scene, part 3, because my favorite scenes are when I get to do comedy. I love to make people laugh, and that was the most fun scene I've ever filmed. I just had so much fun making Danny Roebuck's laugh. and I felt so sorry for him because I had to do so many spit takes with him with the fake alcohol in my mouth, and he cracked me up one time. I almost gagged because we were doing so many takes where I had to spit that in his face. And one of them, he's just in the middle of the, and Clowny, you don't have to spit in my face this time. Blah blah blah. I'm like, he's just great. I love anytime I get to just play with people, and I just, it's pure joy for me. The mall scene too was so much fun for me because I being a former teacher, I had a lot of fun doing a whole scene with children again. And before we did that scene, I didn't want to scare the kids because they weren't supposed to be afraid of me in the scene. So I came and had a whole panel discussion with them before we filmed, so they all could get to know me and feel the makeup. So yeah, look, it's really soft and squishy. It's not my real face. I'm not really scary. I'm doing silly voices to them. So I love those kinds of things. You're very welcome.
From the view of like a scare actor or a cosplayer, from start to finish, how long does it take to put on the art makeup? And also, what would your recommendation be to like channel that character better, to put on a better performance?
Okay, sure. The makeup for art, I'm actually lucky with. I've played other roles where it's a lot longer. I recently just did a film where it took 6 hours just to get into my prosthetics. There's a full body prosthetic I had to wear from this four or five people. Even my girlfriend was helping the whole application to remove the process. But art only takes about an hour and a half to put on things fully. But to get into his mental headspace, I mean, I'm luckily I don't have to do the whole Jared Leto thing and have to live as him. But I think my co-stars are happy that I'm not like that on my own goal too. So, but I can go in and out of character very easily. But there was a line in the script the first time I read from the cat lady where she says he does this because he thinks it's funny. And I was like, that's a great motivation. That's so dark and messed up because all these other horror villains, they're usually doing it out of some kind of revenge or something like that. He's not doing that out of any revenge. He's just innately evil, and he just thinks it's funny to kill people, and he gets a movement on that. And I look at that, and I'm like, okay, he is the anti-clown. Clowns are supposed to be here to bring joy and amusement to other people. He is here to bring pain and misery to other people for his own selfish amusement. And once I understood that, there's the character. I'm like, that's who he is. He's just messed up. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Oh, also, I base him also off of a vulture. Because he like, so when he's in hunt mode, you see him kind of hunch more and everything. Like, he's got that beaky nose. And when birds of prey are, everything's led with their eyes. The eyes move first, and the head moves, and the body moves. And that's what I would base his movements off of when he's in hunt mode. Oh, yeah. So that might help.
So we know that like in voiceless actors, you put a lot of yourself into, there's a lot of improvisation in
Yes.
the acting. So I was just wondering with Art the Clown, how much was kind of director guided and how much was you putting yourself into the character?
I would say it's about 50-50. Damien knows, especially when it comes to Phil scenes, he knows exactly what he wants. But like other scenes, he's like, okay, let's play with it some. And sometimes we'll do a serious take and then we'll do a comedic take. And for me, to help me with all that, even though I don't have any dialogue, with wonderful, I don't have to sit there and memorize lines. I just show up. It's great. But I make up my own dialogue in my head. And so I'm saying lines, I'm cracking jokes, I'm doing everything, but it helps things happen organically for me with my face and my body. But it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
So because there's kind of a lot of yourself put into the character and there's a lot of improvisation, is there ever anything that fans kind of assume about Art the Clown that in your mind you're like, no, that doesn't sound quite right? Like,
I know some people, and to me, I think some people think we might have some kind of like sympathetic backstory or something like that. I know we're going to explain for like this more of that in part 4, but to me, I think he's like innately evil. To me, in my head, I have no idea what thing is going to put on the page. But in my head, I see him as he came out of the womb, he strangled his mother to death with his own umbilical cord, and then jumped up with it afterwards. That's how I look at it. But yeah, I think that he's never going to talk. He's never going to talk. I think whatever voice would come out of him would people would not like. Though I think it would be funny in my head. I think if he had a very posh British accent. Yeah, it's so much fun. Yeah.
thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
I'm sorry.
I told
I'm silly question. So I'm a big fan. One of my favorite scenes is the clown cafe.
Yes.
What would Art the Clown order from the clown cafe if he could?
A kid's meal, obviously. Chicken, lady fingers. Yeah, I do love chicken. Hush. Hush.
Favorite like street pizza.
Ooh, his favorite treat. Ice cream. Yeah.
Cooking and doing stuff that involves like my hair, like special interest. Art the Clown has taken over to my role.
Oh, that's fantastic. I love it.
Art the Clown still doing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think he just, as long as it's got blood on it, he'd be happy. A little salt. Oh, yeah. And, if he's got going a little bit of a diet, he'd be.
All right, we got time for the one more question. Just been waiting. Hey, I love that jacket, dude. I love that jacket, dude. And then we got to wrap up. So what you got?
This is something from my mom actually.
Oh,
In the corner.
No, mama.
take that.
She wanted to know what was your favorite Halloween costume you ever worn.
Oh, that's a fun question. I didn't wear costumes sometimes. There was this one year where I went as a ghost werewolf because I couldn't decide if I wanted to be a werewolf or a ghost. So my body was that of a ghost, and my head was a werewolf, so that was a fun one. There was another year I went as Michelangelo from the Ninja Turtles. And I used a shell that my mom had made for a play at Trinity. It was a jet, but the shell was as big as me. And I kept falling over on my back. And I'm like, oh, no. I'm nunchucks flailing. That was fun. But I think my favorite one, it was the most disastrous one. I had just moved to my new neighborhood in South Huntsville, and that year I wanted to go as a mummy. And my mom sat there all day turning up bed sheets, and then like safely put them all together. And I had like thermal underwear underneath, and I just kept losing pins everywhere I was going, and my wrappings kept coming undone. So this was like we had only moved in that neighborhood like 2 or 3 weeks prior, so I knew nobody yet. And so this is basically my introduction to the neighborhood. And I'm showing up at everybody's doorstep with my wrappings falling off. And I'm almost, thank God I have thermal underwear on. I'm like, you have. And then after that, I would start scaring people later on. And I would dress up like one year. I dressed up as we had a scarecrow on the porch for a few weeks just to set people up for it. And then I donned the scarecrow costume on, and I put like newspaper inside, so if people came up to touch me, if they get the crinkle, I'd scare them. The best part of it was there was like my buddies from high school were going around. Apparently, they had some girls come up and they're like drenched on other people. We had several kids come up and they were drenched. They're like, yeah, there's some guys going around throwing water balloons at us. I'm like, let me know who they are. And like, oh, they're coming down the street now. I'm like, oh, I'll get them. Turned out to be my buddies. And they come up to the porch. I'm like, Miss Thornton, yeah, where's Dave? Oh, he's out, out there, having fun, trick or treating and stuff like that. Oh, okay, we'll tell him hi. It's like I heard you were like getting some kids, but oh yeah, and I just hop up, scream, and they screamed and fell down the steps. The water balloons flew up in the air and came down on top of them. It was David Williams, if you remember him, yeah. Brandon Clark. It is like, oh my God, I'm good. And they're like, so the next year I told them I wasn't going to do anything. I did it again, but it's a different thing. I went as a wolf that time, jumped out the bushes and scared them again. It was fun.
Everybody give it up to Howard Thornton. Thanks everybody at the table. Follow photo walk. Let's take it out. Maybe one thing.
So look, what time is it?